those out. So let's talk about what happens when you lose your job. Job loss is more than just a paycheck. I've heard a lot of times people will say, their friends or family say, well, you should just be able to go out and get a job. And it's just a paycheck. Just go in, sign up, go in and do a handshake. That's not how it is. Job loss is more than the financial. Job loss is emotional. It's your routine. It's getting up in the morning, even if you're a hybrid or remote person. It's the routine of having a schedule, having interactions with colleagues. It's so much more than financial. It's very much a part, a lot of times, of your identity because of all of the relationships and dynamics. So it's important that you acknowledge however you lost your job, whatever happened, make sure that you take the time to really unpack and go through those emotions, but don't camp out there. Okay. You want to deal with the emotions and then you want to be able to help yourself to move on and absolutely anticipate that there will be an emotional roller coaster when you've lost your job. I had one person tell me that they thought that they had become bipolar during their job hunt because there were so many drastic emotions. You think, oh my gosh, I lost my job. What is next? But then you feel hopeful because there's a future, but then you start applying, someone's not responding, and then it's just up and down and up and down. Then when you have interviews, sometimes you have a series of interviews, first, second, third, you're getting excited, and then they don't choose you. So now you're at your low. So that's what's really important when you're navigating all of these emotions, to connect with people around you that are positive, that are going to be a source of inspiration and encouragement, and to connect with your local career force. We love what we do. We are professionals that are highly trained. We are constantly learning and developing the latest industry standards. We want to see you be successful. We have lots of different programs, different services, ways to connect with you one-on-one, virtually, in person. So please connect with your local career force. Today, we are going to be together from 10 until 11. We will end the workshop today and promptly at 11 because we respect your time. And that is your moment to reach out to your local career force so that you can see who's there. You can talk to folks, you can interact with them in whatever way is accessible and easiest for you. But it's okay to acknowledge the emotions. You will have dark days. You will have days where you feel positive, and sometimes that'll happen within a 10-minute span. And it's okay. Okay. Acknowledge it, but don't camp out there. So, first thing that we want to do again is you just want to recognize the feelings. It's okay to sit in that moment and say, I'm unhappy this happened, or maybe you're mad, or maybe your feelings are hurt. Just recognize that feeling and find a safe outlet, someone that you can talk with, that you can share. Maybe if there's someone you don't want to talk with or you don't have that, journal things, write things down, find a place to forgive, to say, okay, this did happen. This is not the best scenario, but I have to move on. I have to move forward and be prepared for the future. And then accept the change, accept the fact that, and I don't want to sound Hallmark to you. I too have had job loss. I've gone through the UI process. I'm telling you, sometimes, most of the times, what happens to us is very purposeful. So it's important to acknowledge the past, to realize that there is a future, and it's possible the next thing that you do will really feed your soul and be amazing. You'll be with a team of people that you connect with, and it'll really help you to be happy and have a future that you never dreamed you were capable of. And that change is sometimes what it takes to get there. Okay. So now you're going to bounce back, because bouncing back, that's the tough part. So it's a choice we have to make every single day. So, for example, this workshop, I know a lot of you might be here because UI, it was part of the list of things that they asked you to do to sign up for a workshop. Well, you made the choice. You not only signed up, but you showed up. That's a big deal. Life is free will. We all make choices. So, thank you for being here. We're so happy that you showed up. And then it feels good to make the commitment and to actually show up and to be present. That's an accomplishment. That's something you did for yourself today. You should be proud of yourself. So you can choose how you feel. Just like when you're in the workforce, like we choose to attend meetings, we choose to turn in the report, we choose all these different things. We can choose our thoughts and feelings. When you have that moment, that little voice of negativity that's giving you doubt, when you're starting to feel kind of weak, you can say no to that little voice. No, I'm not doing that today. I'm going to be strong. When you start to feel defeated and demoralized, and it's overwhelming because it is. You can tell yourself, no, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to have energy, be energized. Remember, it's like I tell myself, like I'm 5 years old. When I start to get negative or I start to doubt, I say, no, I'm not doing that today. And it's almost like rewiring your thinking and rewiring your brain to say, hey, I'm going to be positive. I'm not going to choose to go down this rabbit hole of defeat or of worry. I'm not going to respond how I would have. I'm going to choose something new and change that habit. Everything is a choice. And it sounds hokey, but it's very impactful. So it really is all about your attitude, and it's about being nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And look at the people around you. For example, when I was going through unemployment, I stopped watching like Dateline in 2020. I love those shows, but everything was about murder. That wasn't positive. I also stopped watching the news. There's so many things that I took out of my circle of influence because I was at capacity. I was overloaded, and so I couldn't handle the fun, wonderful Dateline because I just wasn't right. And so even today, I've really been mindful of those things. So just keep in mind to be in charge of your environment, your attitude, stay positive. Because when you're staying positive, that is reflected in how you communicate with others. Like when you have an interview, when you're going out networking, and how do you stay positive? So staying positive, you want to talk with other people. So maybe your friends aren't able, for some reason, maybe they don't understand. There's different types of maybe the clergy, there's different churches, there's all sorts of support groups. If you are ever in a place where you kind of feel in crisis, like you're just really need to talk and you're frustrated, 988 is an outstanding option. Our career force staff are outstanding. You could literally just go into an office or you could just call an office. You could sign up for one of the virtual appointments and you could literally just say or communicate, I have lost my job. I really don't know what to do from here. We do. We'll take care of you. We will guide you through that. We'll explain things. We'll learn a little bit more about who you are, your skill sets, what you've done in the past, what you want to do. And we have all sorts of programs and resources and ways that we can get you connected in person, over the phone, virtually. We have outstanding partners throughout the state. So just show up. We will do the rest and help guide you. Okay. Do some sort of exercise, have some sort of movement. You don't have to go out and buy equipment. You can pick up bottles of water and you can exercise, you can stretch, you can go online and Google different types of easy at home relaxation yoga. You can turn music on. I tell people all the time on my phone calls, I'm like, don't forget to turn your music on and dance around the house. You deserve that. And even counseling, if you have someone that you can talk to, if you have a professional outlet to go and really share things and kind of purge the emotions and help journey through that. And again, that positive self-talk and that affirmation, so critical. And you just train your brain to keep the negative out and just to be nice to yourself. Volunteering is another outlet, which is super helpful, especially if you have, maybe there's a company that you want to work for, maybe you want to work at a hospital. I know that when I lived in Houston, Texas, I went and volunteered at one of the hospitals there, and that helped me to network and meet folks. And that's the way I got in the door. There's different companies, different organizations. And it doesn't have to be with the goal of finding a job. Sometimes just getting out and having that fellowship with folks is just so mentally empowering. So just keep in mind about all the different outlets that you have to stay positive. And probably the most important one is to get out of your head, control the negativity, and just be at peace, have calm moments, focus on your breathing, and know that you're not alone. Career Force is here to champion and support you. So let's make a game plan, okay? We have decided to control our thoughts. We're going to be aware of our positive, safe space. And now we need to move forward. So you want to assess yourself. What are the different ways? What does it mean to assess yourself? That's kind of we have career assessments. There's tools that you can look at what your skills are, how those are transferable. We do have, and just a reminder, I know you're seeing information on the screen and you might be thinking, oh, wow, how can I write this down real quick? Or how can I get this information? Remember that tomorrow you're going to receive a follow-up email that'll have all of these resources, various links, and a video so that you'll be able to just easily have those at the ready. So we do have our website for Career Force. It's actually careerforce.mn.gov, careerforcemn.gov. And we also have them, there's a My Skills, My Future. We have a Min State option. All of these options are amazing to be able to go on and to navigate, to do different types of career assessments. And something else I like to tell people, if you receive the email of all the different resources and you think, well, this is great, but I'm not really sure how to make all these work for me, again, contact your local career force or sign up for an online virtual one-on-one and say, can we have a Teams chat where we can have a virtual meeting and let the career force professional share their screen with you, and we can show you how to get through all these different sites and everything that makes them able to really champion and journey you through your job search. And do your homework. What do I mean by that? Look up the different types of skills that you have and how they can transfer. Look at the different types of job titles that are similar to what you've wanted to do. Fill in the skills gaps. Maybe there's something you've wanted to do, and now that you're in a place to where you're unemployed, so now why not check it out? Is there a type of training that would assist you? Do we have a program that could help you to be able to gain those skills? And then get ready to make your move. Make your decision to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the type of job I want, and then I'm ready to tackle it. So let's look at our online tools. So this is an example of our Career Force website. And this shows the different types, it says, for job seekers. So I want to remind everybody that, so obviously today, for you to be able to be on this workshop, you have created an account on Minnesota Works. That's fantastic. We also encourage folks to go to careerforce.mn.gov and to create an account there. And you can see at the top it has for career seekers. This is an example of the different types of classes, resources, availabilities we have on and through this site. And don't forget up here at the top right over here, the search Career Force, you can type in resume, interview, job search, programs. Just be creative. What are you looking to do? And put it into that search engine, and you'll be just amazed at the different types of opportunities that pop up. So let's look at, for example, for career seekers, it tells you about take an interest assessment, take a skills assessment. It talks about the different jobs that are in demand. Now, this is an older slide. We have new slides that are coming. We're super excited because you can see this says jobs in demand now during COVID. So we have new ones coming that are just going to be fantastic. So this is just a snapshot about the different things that we can do, which you can find online. I want to have a little commercial in this conversation real quick. When you're job searching, if you're at home, if you're in a space and you think, I wonder how, or how do I find this information? If you are curious about something, rather than sending an email, waiting for someone to respond, waiting for someone to call you, I encourage folks to just go to Google, whatever your search engine is. You can type in what you're looking for. You can even press the microphone button and say, help me find, how do I find, what is, be curious and be your own advocate in the moment to constantly be looking for information and to find out what those answers are to your questions. I highly, highly encourage you to advocate for yourself and to be curious instead of waiting. ask questions of your phone, look into Google, and kind of see what the resources are available to you. There's also one of the links that we are going to include in your email. There's one that talks about my skills and your future. And so this is where you're going to go in and you can type in like your current job title, something that you're wanting to do, even your skills, and it shows you different jobs that are similar to what you'd like to do. And be mindful that maybe even a couple of years ago, you may have noticed that when you used to read a person's job title, that was what they did. It very clearly matched the role that they played. Nowadays, a job title really doesn't have anything to do with the position at all. Has anyone else noticed that? It's the wildest thing. Something I recommend for folks, if you have there's a job title that you've always had or a skill set, I like to put into Google. I just always say Google, but whatever search engine works for you. I like to put into my search engine, what are other job titles for, and then whatever that job title is you've held in the past. Because you'll be surprised at the array of options and the different types of titles that you would have never thought of. And if you're looking at particular companies and you're targeting specific companies, you might be scrolling through their jobs and reading job titles and going, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Because the job title, the name doesn't resonate with you. Try not do that. Break that habit, because even though that job title doesn't appeal to you, if you read the job description, it might be amazing. So be mindful that just because job titles don't sound like what you think the position should be, it might actually be exactly what you're looking for. They've just kind of tweaked things a little bit. Doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. Okay, JobStat is another option that we have where you can go on, and it's the same type of premise where you're going to type in the different type of occupation you've had or your skill set, and then you press search, or you can even look. So this is a little snapshot of what that screen looks like. And you can see down at the bottom, it has different types of industries like architectural, engineering, arts, building, business. And then within business, they opened up that little window to show accounting, agents of businesses, assessors, auditors. So this is another tool where you can say, hey, I think I'd like to go into this industry. Okay, well, let's open that up and see the different types of jobs that are available. And then when you click on that, it tells you the different types of education. It gives you an idea about how populated is this industry? Is this something where it's very likely that you'll find a position, or is it going to tell you that it's on the downswing, or it's dismal? Wonderful information to be able to kind of think outside the box if you're wanting to do something different. Heather, do we have any questions or thoughts? How are we?
We're doing good. Lots of chatter back and forth, but no direct questions yet.
Good, excellent. So don't forget to place your questions, job concerns, and we are happy to help you. So let's jump into preparing for the job hunt. So you really want to get organized. It's really important. The first thing I tell people is it's a good idea to have a notebook, like a notepad. Put the date on it every day when you're starting your search, starting to make your calls, when you're emailing. And some people, they're Excel folks, whatever it is, however if you want to make graphs and charts, just make sure that you have something that lists each day the date and kind of your progress and what you're doing, because that's helpful to be able to go back if you try to find information. And it also could be helpful if UI reaches out and asks you to share about your job log and what you've been doing and your progress that you've made. So manage your schedule. You want to balance your job search and activities. Make sure that you're taking time to say, okay, you're going to hop up in the morning. You're going to, I think it's a good idea. You don't have to put on a power suit, but I think it's a good idea to, as hokey as it sounds, take a shower, brush your teeth. You can be in pajama mode, but just be clean and refreshed. And I say that because when I went through my unemployment process, there were days where I was just straight out pajama for 2 or 3 days, and the same pajama. And that's not good for you. That doesn't feel whole, and it doesn't feel clean, and you're not letting yourself be refreshed. So just getting into that mode of, okay, I'm going to get up at a reasonable time. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to be prepared and ready. Then you feel good. It really does make a difference. I'm telling you. So set your schedule to get up at a reasonable time. Look at your job searches. Okay, I'm going to look at jobs for a couple of hours in the morning, and then maybe go for a walk, maybe do some stretching, turn the music on and dance, take a break, have a snack. Make sure to set goals. We're going to talk about SMART goals. That's on our next slide. And then keep good records. Like I had mentioned, it's really important for you to know who you called, what did you talk about? Did you leave a voicemail for somebody? Did you have an email exchange? Have a detailed record. And then a lot of times when you are applying for a job, well, every time nowadays, when you apply for a job, you have to create with each organization, you have to create an account and have a username and your password. So I highly recommend writing that stuff down so that later you'll be able to go to it, because we're human, we forget things. So it's good to write down all those darn passwords and usernames. Now, what is a SMART goal? So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely for your job search. So what does it mean to be specific? So you want to look at what exactly do you want to do? What are you looking to accomplish with your goal? And then is it measurable? How will you know you're on track to complete that goal? So maybe make, say today, okay, today is Tuesday. By Friday, I'd like to, and have XYZ, have listed out what you're looking to achieve. And then are things achievable? What resources will help you complete your goals? If you have made a decision to make a certain number of outreach, I'm going to reach 4 different people this week. Note how you're going to do that. I'm going to go to a networking event. I'm going to jump on LinkedIn and I'm going to send some messages to folks. I'm going to, when I'm at the grocery store today, I'm going to talk to somebody over in the produce aisle, or I'm going, you just never know. There's always a way to make a connection. And then is it relevant? Why is this goal important to your job search? Make sure that you're not spinning your wheels, meaning make sure you're not just doing a lot of busy work, a lot of things that don't have a specific ending goal where you can achieve something that's measurable, that you can say it's tangible and look what I have accomplished today. So why is it important for you to do this for your job search? You need to be able to network and make contacts because you never know who knows somebody who works at an organization. You need to have time frames of when you can accomplish your goals so that you'll feel good about having reached that accomplishment, and so that you'll be able to move on to other opportunities for you to be able to connect. And then make things timely. I had mentioned this. When you're going to complete that goal, use a specific day. And then if something happens and you have to adjust, let's say today's Tuesday, you said, okay, I'm going to make 4 connections by Friday. Well, tomorrow on Wednesday, you get 2 phone calls that you have interviews coming up. So now you need to prep for your interviews. You could readjust those time frames for those goals maybe to the following week. So everything's adjustable, that you can make provisions, but just be really aware that you want to set yourself up for success. You want to give yourself, sometimes having those visuals, having those lists, having things written down helps you to be able to say, okay, here it is, I'm committed, and then you have direction. So what should I research? So when you're looking for a job, you want to study the company's products and services. Who are they? When did they start their company? What is their history? Have they, I like to look at, depends on different industries. Some industries, companies can be bought and sold all the time. Some companies outsource their positions, and there's a lot of different dynamics. Some companies are shifting their parameters because of AI. Some companies are moving their workers to other countries. There's a lot of dynamics. So do the research to find out about a company. Always look at their mission statement and their vision. I think it's a good idea also to jump on to LinkedIn and look up the company, look up their people. Where have their people worked? That's also a great lead to not only learn about that organization, but then you can get leads for other organizations, other companies that might be doing the same type of jobs, that might have the same type of opportunities, and you didn't even know it existed. Oh, and also when you're on LinkedIn looking up companies and looking at people, look at their education and look at their certifications and their licensures, because that may be a way for you to find another way to elevate yourself. And keep in mind, if you go to LinkedIn and you're looking at people, people can see you. They know that you've looked at their profile, and that's an amazing networking tool because people are curious by nature. What if you went on to 3 or 4 different profiles and looked at those individuals? They, in turn, looked at your profile and said, wow, look at their skills, look at their background. Maybe you have somebody in common. They may reach back out to you and say, hey, I'd like to know more about you. We have an opportunity. You never know. It happens. So check out the company's size, look at their history and locations. If it's available, look at the financial situation, kind of the potential growth. You can always Google companies' names and look at mergers and acquisitions. You can look at the company's history. You can put in the company's name and say employee reviews or client reviews. There's always, the internet is just vast with information. Look at any recent changes or initiatives. Check out the human resource policies. Some companies have their benefits listed online. That can be really valuable. And look at their labor market industry. We have a link. We have such beautiful information. The labor markets are fascinating. If you've never dove in and checked those out, I encourage you to look at that. That will come in your email tomorrow. And then again, look at the different salaries. So you can Google and look for the salary range, and that's always super beneficial and the different benefits that they offer. So where should I research? Okay, I shared a little bit of this. So of course, the company's websites, look at different press releases. You can even type in the company's name and then say press releases, and it'll show you anything that's shown up in social media, or you can just type in the company's name and then type in social media and see what's out there. Something else that's also interesting now on the internet, when you type in a company's name and just press search, it'll bring you to people that have worked at that company that are on Facebook, people with their LinkedIn account, people with anywhere that where that company's name has popped up. It'll show you all the different places, and that can be kind of cool because you can see how far reaching is this organization, what all their different people do, sometimes even in the recreational space. And library references, sections, and librarians. Oh, I think this is one of our older slides. So that's, it's possible there could be information at the library. I'm definitely a proponent and a cheerleader for libraries, so go check out your local library. But most things I think are probably going to be online. We discussed LinkedIn, career information websites, absolutely. You can type in a company's name and then even type in jobs or careers available. And sometimes there will be information posted on not just that company's website, but on other sites. And even though they might be a position that had closed in the past, it can give you an idea about the types of opportunities they had. And then it also may have a listing of the salary that they posted in the past. Informational interviews and conversations. Absolutely. When you have an interview with somebody, you can also ask them questions about the company. When you're talking to an HR representative and asking them questions about positions they have or about an application that you had put in, you can ask them questions and learn more. Your network, ask the people that you know, people that are in your circle of friends or friends of friends. Just say, hey, do you know anybody that works with such and such, or what has your experience been with this organization? And of course, your local career force. That's why I really stress to people the importance of connecting with your local office. Your local career force is going to know the different businesses in your area. The businesses a lot of times contact us and let us know about their training programs. They let us know when they have openings. A lot of career forces have employers of the day, or they have career events. So I cannot stress the importance of really tapping into getting to know your local career force so that you can have them help you to be your very best and to find your next opportunity. Now, this is, I'm not sure how people feel about business cards now. Some folks are still using cards, and that's awesome. If you choose to, we have this slide here about networking cards. So what would you include on that? It would be your name, probably, I don't know if I'd put my address. You might put your city and state, just like you would on your resume, phone number, your email, anything that you have a LinkedIn, or if you have like an eFolio link, your appropriate graphics, if you need to put some flair on there. And then also sometimes the people are putting links to, depending upon your industry, if there's like sample writings or if there's anything that you need to show that like your qualifications, that can be helpful for folks. These are samples of cards. We have one that talks about, like we have Jane A, job seeker. It talks about the position she's looking for or something that's related, has her LinkedIn. And then I probably only put Shakopee, Minnesota here, and then the phone number and then her email. Oh, I want to do another commercial while we're here. With your email, please be mindful that your email is a reflection of who you are. Sometimes it's one of the first things people see. So if your email has like your birth year, any type of identifier, sometimes that can go against you. If your email is something like Hot Harley Dad or Becky's Mom Bakes Brownies, that is adorable for your family and friends, but it's just really not appropriate for a job search. So we encourage folks, if maybe your email is a little bit outdated or it has some identifiers in it, jump on to Google or Yahoo and create one specifically for your job search. You, just like this is Jane A, job seeker, I could put Jack needs a job, hire Jack for your company at Yahoo, at Gmail. Just be mindful. I think that sometimes your email could turn somebody off. Even though it may be cute or fun to you, it may not be for somebody else. But I just wanted to throw that in there. And then on the back of the card, you could put your skills, what it is that you offer, so that if you're networking and reaching out, handing people your card, they will remember who you are and what it is you're looking to obtain and how you could provide value to their company. So let's discuss portfolios. What is a portfolio? Now, you see this gentleman, he has it's a blue folder. You don't have to have, some portfolios are leather bound. You can just have a manila folder. You could have just a business size manila envelope. Your local career force can, if you need an envelope, a lot of times we can help people with that. We can have a manila folder available for you. And if you need to print out your resume, print out your cover letters and such, we have our computer labs, which they're free to use. You can come in and we have staff that are able to help you. So please take advantage of that. That's what we're here for. In that portfolio, what is that? It basically means to have a few copies of your resume, to go ahead and have a few copies of your references, and have copies of your cover letter. Also, pending your industry, if there's samples that you need of writing samples or whatnot, to have those with you. And what's really, people say, why would I need to take that to an interview? Everything is online, everything. Well, yes. However, we have had folks, there's an example of one of my colleagues who actually went to an interview, and when she arrived, they said, oh, we're so sorry, our computer network is down. We weren't able to print any of your resume. We're not prepared for the interview. We're going to need to reschedule. And she said, not a problem. I have copies of my resume, my cover letter. I have everything here with me. Do you think she got that job? Yes, she did. She just took out her folder and she handed each individual, she actually had 5 copies of all of the information needed, and they were impressed from the get-go. So just be prepared, have that with you just in case. It's really helpful. And also, it's nice to even have that in your car. What if you're having a conversation with somebody? Yes, a lot of times people will say, hey, just email me your resume, send me your contact information. What if there's the one person that says, hey, do you have a copy of your resume with you? Yes, absolutely, I do. And you're ready. It's with you in your car. It's with you on your person. So what about references? References are really important. On your resume, please do not say references available upon request. If a company's interested in you, they will reach out and ask you for them. A lot of times references are done online now. A company, I know that with the state, if you're one of their top candidates after they've interviewed, they will send you an email with a link where you put your reference's name, phone number, and email address, and then they take it from there. So when you're thinking about your references, you want to choose those people carefully, someone who will say good things about you, but also that they will say it well. You want to make sure that it's someone that you've spoken to recently, that you have good dynamics with, and that they still say, yeah, absolutely, you can use me as a reference. You want to be aware sometimes if you're on the fence with if an individual is going to say something about you that's going to help you and be positive, don't go that route. Another important factor, which sounds, you would say, well, this makes sense, but a lot of people miss this because there's so much going on. Pay attention to, does the reference, can this individual speak to the skills that you would be able to, your skills, your capabilities for the job that you're applying for? A good thing to do is to send, if someone says, yeah, absolutely, I'd be happy to be a reference for you, send them a copy of the job description so that they'll be prepared when they're contacted, so they'll know a little bit more about what it is that your next job is going to be. And if you know in advance, if there are particular questions that they asked you, maybe during the interview, they continued to ask you about your area of proficiency in this or that, then you can also let the reference know, hey, they kind of honed in on these areas so that they can be aware of kind of what's coming so that they can really champion you. Pay attention to using peers, supervisors, anyone that was an instructor or a client. I know with the state, I believe it's 2 past supervisors, like your last supervisor, and then like 3 could be like a few coworkers. I think there's one that can be professional. Folks that have had maybe your last supervisor, maybe you didn't have a good experience there. I think that they also allow, it maybe if there's a clergyman, someone that, or someone that you volunteered quite a bit, someone that's worked with you in the past, just be open and honest with HR if you have a concern with the reference. Be positive when you are, and just ask for other options of who else if you have a reference that's kind of questionable for you. And again, always ask permission of that person, make sure that they're still on board with providing a reference, and then let them know whenever you actually like if you get the email and you do put their name in, you can say, hey, I got the email about references, I went ahead and sent that out this morning, so they can be prepared and ready, and confirm their information is correct. Confirm you had their correct email. If you email them, confirm you have the correct phone number. And then also thank them in advance. Thank you so much for doing this and being available. It just goes a long way. And then ask them, say, hey, do you mind letting me know when you've been contacted, just so that I can be aware. Now, what about checkpoints? What is a checkpoint? So where you exhale, we want to go back. We want to look, what have we spoken about today? What are our different areas? We're going to take a breath, and you're going to remember you are recovering from your job loss. No matter how it happened, this is where you are today. Sometimes this refresh, it can be purposeful, and it can be really meaningful and impactful. It's possible that you need this time to just de-escalate and just to cleanse your mind and just to have a redo. Just take a breath, be kind to yourself, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay. You have support systems all around you. You want to face the challenge every day with a positive attitude. Say, okay, I'm job searching today. I'm going to be aware of the opportunities around me. I'm going to network. Just be open-minded. Connect with your local career force. I cannot stress that enough. And don't forget to develop your game plan. Go ahead and put together, say, okay, what am I going to do today? What did I work on yesterday? Do I need to follow up with someone previously? Get all of your ducks in a row. Talk to people around you. Go to different organizations, sometimes local, like Google. Okay, I always say Google. I like to put in a search engine, type in like the different type of intro. You can type in professional networking groups for like for me, it would be career specialist, and then put in your zip code and see what it populates. You might be so surprised. There could be a networking group that meets around the corner from you. There could be someone that meets at a coffee shop. You just never know. Remember to always be curious. If you're at home thinking, I wonder, what about, put it in your phone, ask your phone, use resources. Don't be afraid to ask other people for help. Don't be afraid to just you seek the unknown. This is your chance to do something different. We have people that thought they were going to retire where they were working. We have people that have always worked in the same industry, and it's a bit of a panic and it's a scary moment. We'll also consider that that is it's kind of exciting too. What if you can reinvent yourself? What is a hobby that you've done? I like to recommend to people, talk to your best friends, the people that know you really well. Talk to them and say, okay, you know me, you know everything about my life, you know my job history, you know all my relationships, everything about who I am. What would you tell me I should do with my next job? You might be surprised at what insight people have into what you could do with your future. And then when you have an idea about that, then contact your local career force. We have all sorts of programs. One of our programs is called the Dislocated Worker Program. And that's where the state, if you're on UI, that's where they would continue to pay for your UI. And then it's possible that they might be able to pay for you to achieve a professional certificate or license, or to pursue some sort of training to either elevate you where you have been on your current career path, or to help you completely transition. It's a possibility. So talk to people that know you. What should I do? What type of career should I have? And listen, and then check it out. Go talk to Career Force and see if we can help you. Take a career assessment. Those are amazing. Even if the one you took 1 year ago, we evolve and we change, and it could be really insightful of the different types of industries it tells you. It could tell you something that you had thought about doing years ago, but never had the courage. Now might be the time. Also, I recommend even talk to your family, ask them their opinion. What do you think? What should I do? And just be open-minded to what people are going to suggest. And then the other part of it, so, you develop your game plan. You always want to keep organized. Remember, when you're not working, your schedule's gone. The day-to-day routine, we say, oh, we're the hamster in the wheel. But sometimes it's nice to be in that wheel because we know where we are and we know what's going on. So when you have an abundance of free time, just be mindful to go ahead and, set your schedule, keep a record of kind of what you're doing, stay organized, keep a record of when you're going to go network. Consider getting a part-time job. Sometimes when you get a part-time job that could help stretch out your UI, but talk to UI first. You need to work under 32 hours and make less than you bring in each week. But like I went and got a part-time job when I was going through UI. It was like summertime. So I went to a local area. A store had a little garden center, and I worked with the plants, and I was outside, and I was having wonderful fellowship, and it was so cleansing for my mental health because I was able to get out and see people. And then it also helps you having that interaction, and you feel value again because people are seeking you out. You're having that camaraderie. So, so healthy. And again, you never know who you're going to meet. I met several recruiters with a state. I met folks from all over the place, and it was amazing. And it did help my UI stretch out, but it was just such a cleansing time for me to be able to feel worthy again, because you need to acknowledge the emotions of your job search. And again, it all circles back to please contact your local career force, because this is what we do, this is what we love, and we want to champion and support you in finding your next position and helping you to know that you're not alone. So you're organized, you set your SMART goals, your goals that are realistic. You have a definite, achievable, markable, obtainable possibility at the end of achieving your goal. and you have a path to be able to make it happen. And you want to know where and what to research and write that stuff down, or make a spreadsheet. You can copy paste, put it on a Word document to keep up with your research, who you spoke to, what you found out about different companies, and then gather all your tools. Go to your local career force. If you don't have a printer or a computer, we can print out those resumes for you, cover letters. If you need to, sometimes you still need to fax things. If you need help creating your resume, we have wonderful workshops. We also have in-person classes and one-on-ones. And if you want to maybe get some sort of a networking card, then we have information about that as well. So I have completed things fairly early. So Miss Heather, are there questions or thoughts?
We do have a few questions. So the first one is, can you speak to headhunters and recruiters or reverse recruiters and finding the best contacts when you're changing career areas? It seems many are only interested in finding you roles you've had before.
Gosh, that's a really great question. So I one of the first things I'd like to say is please be mindful that um, there's job seekers I've spoken to that will say, "Oh, I'm working with all these different recruiters and headhunters, and they've got my resume," and they kind of put all of their eggs in the basket of that recruiter. Please be mindful. There's amazing recruiters. There's great headhunters out there. But remember, they too have to have a certain quota of the amount of resumes they bring in each week, how many people they're keeping in their pipeline. So while it's important for you to have those relationships and to take time to talk with them, please don't allow those individuals to be your only resource for job hunting. I would encourage you to definitely talk to them and say, yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to speak with you about the opportunities. Have your conversations, document the conversation, and be open to an interview, but keep looking outside and looking yourself. And another area, please, 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 when you are, and this is a resume thing, when you are applying for jobs, it is crucial that you tailor your resume. Each job you apply for, you need to, only if you meet the requirements, of course, you need to use the exact words from the job description for their preferences or requirements in your resume, because that's what people are looking for nowadays. If you're sending out general resumes and so forth, you're just really probably going to be overlooked because they're looking for exact wording.
Thank you. If you have been in one position for a while, how old is okay for references? And or is it okay for all of your reference to be from the same workplace?
That's a great question. So I do want to throw this out also, just random about the resume, probably the last 7 to 10 years if you can. If you've been in a company and you've had the same position, or some people have been at one company for the totality of their career and they've had multiple positions, if that's really all that you have, then absolutely, then you can include those individuals. If you do have, maybe you volunteered also, or maybe you had something that a project that you did on the side with other individuals in your life. Maybe you've been an Eagle Scout, or maybe you led the Brownie group. You can also use those individuals as references. I think employers are very open-minded to the fact that each individual, we're all just our authentic selves, and everyone has a different lifestyle and background and different connections. So I think employers are very much open-minded. And you can always ask that HR person. You can say, hey, how should I handle the reference section? And then, yeah, and they can guide you. But I don't think that's unreasonable.
Perfect. And there's a little bit of a conversation going on in the chat about the CLIMB program. And so I just wanted to briefly, just in case everybody's not following the chat, the CLIMB program is a part of the Dislocated Worker program, which Jack had mentioned. CLIMB specifically talks about converting layoffs into Minnesota business. And so starting your own business, kind of of an avenue. Um, and I know there was a question too about, if you're looking at changing careers, Dislocated Worker Program is such a great resource for that as well. So if that's something you're interested in or thinking about starting your own business, please reach out to your local Career Force location about their Dislocated Worker Program. The next question is having a letter of recommendation the same thing as having a reference?
I think so. Absolutely. That's something that you could include when they ask for references. Sometimes when you apply for a job, it'll have the area where you upload your resume, but sometimes it says upload, and then you have to pull the little option down to choose what it is that you're uploading, your resume, cover letter, or it could say reference, or it could say recommendation. You could put it there, but absolutely. That's the exact same thing. And then if they had any questions of that individual, they could email or call them. Yeah. And anything that speaks to the quality of your work, to your character, to their experience working with you, absolutely. All of those things count and they're important.
Another question, when an application asks if they can contact your previous employer, should you say yes? And is that equivalent to listing them as a reference? Are you then putting your supervisor as a reference?
Good question. If you are comfortable with them contacting your previous employer, then absolutely say yes. I do not believe that would count as a reference. I think that they would still ask you separately for a list of references. Sometimes the reason why they ask you about being able to contact them or not is they could call to see when your dates of employment were, just to confirm that you work there. You'd be very surprised. Sometimes folks put information that's not real. And I'd encourage you not to do that, because you could be in your job rocking and rolling for 2 or 3 years, and then they, for some reason, decide to check something and they find out that you weren't truthful, and then you could lose your job. So be careful.
Yeah, I think with that one, you definitely can use a reference, your employer or supervisor at your previous job as a reference. So you could kind of have them do both. But when they're calling for your employment history, there's specific things that they're asking, really just like your start date, all of those things. They can ask if you would rehire this individual,
Mhm.
things like that. But with references, there's broader questions that they'll kind of ask to kind of get a better idea of how it was working with you. And so you don't have to put them down as both, but if you have a really good rapport with your previous supervisor, you definitely can have both of them down. That's a great question and kind of goes into this comment. It says, my last GM was absolutely terrible. Everyone under him came to me with issues, and them going to him with issues got me into trouble. So I don't want future employees contacting him. Will that be an issue?
That is a scenario where I would, and I empathize with you. We do hear those stories. I think that happens to folks, and so please don't feel like you're the only one and that you're isolated that had that experience. Don't take it personally. It's easy to say that, right? But I so just want to say that. I feel that it would be okay for you to, in a very positive capacity, you could speak with, for example, if an HR person, if they wanted to say, hey, we'd like to talk to your previous supervisor, you could put a positive spin on it and say, I thank you for having, I understand that you have the policy and that you probably do want to speak to that individual. And you could just say that, that may not be the best avenue, the best individual to speak to your skills and to how you really were able to do your job with excellence. Is it possible that you could not utilize that individual and then go with another supervisor, someone else you've worked with within that company who knew you, maybe a different direct report or a different manager, but just put it in a positive light and then ask if there's other options.
Yeah, and this individual just let us know too that they have some military experience and they were a stay-at-home parent, with that. So you have a great unique history, Dustin. So I would recommend reaching out to your local career force location. Um, I can promise you you have many skills and they can kind of help you address how to
Mm.
to work with that check. We also have veterans reps that are available based on your military experience too. So highly recommend reaching out to your local career force location. We can further that discussion.
And can I
Um,
just say
yeah.
that Career Force puts our veterans, they have first priority service. We champion and love our veterans. And if you've ever been a stay-at-home parent, there are so many time management. I mean, there's so many skills and things that you've done that we're well versed at being able to help you be able to articulate that and put that into resume and feel comfortable speaking to that. But yeah, I just wanted to champion what Heather said, and we love our veterans, and we are here for you. So please, absolutely reach out.
This question says, how bad does it look? I don't have anyone who could vouch for me. I've worked in a lot of places, small periods of time, and don't make friends easily.
That's a good question too. I think, and again, I think having that one-on-one conversation with someone in your career force and having them be able to look at your resume and say, okay, let's look at kind of your work history and to talk to you in more detail about the types of jobs that you've done and the types of skills that you have so that they can have that individualized conversation to kind of help you paint that picture. Um, and I want to share, we talk with so many individuals from different backgrounds, different cultures that have had so many different types of life challenges and experiences and triumphs. So this is what we do. And sometimes just that one-on-one, it's an excellent question, but I would really love to see you start that relationship with your local career force so that they can get to know you and then help you connect.
Perfect. And I think we have time for one other question and then a couple closing remarks. This question is it possible to transition to an IT role without a degree? I know that many don't require a degree, but a certification. Are there any resources to build those skills somewhere? Thank you.
Absolutely. Again, this is I would contact your local career force, but also I would jump on Google. I would jump on a search engine and say, literally say into your phone, I want to start a career in IT. Or you could say, I used to work in such and such industry and I want to transfer my skills to IT. What do I do? And see what your phone says. Type it into your phone, reach out to your local career force. But definitely, utilize your phone to talk into the search engine and see what it tells you. So we have to end immediately at 11. We are so happy that you're here. We want to remind you to connect with your local career force. Don't forget to answer all of your phone calls. Be cheerful, be mindful, be kind to yourself. And we're thrilled to see you, to hear you, and have your accessibility. And however it was you're able to join us, please join other workshops. Thank you for everything and for participating today.
Thank you so much, everybody. I did put a link in the chat for you to get to our one-on-one appointments. So
Mhm.
you can go ahead and click that link, put in your zip code, and it will pull up some local one-on-one individual job search appointments with Career Force staff members. Highly encourage you all to take part to participate in some of those. And I will send out a follow-up link here, a follow-up email with the link to the recording and some other resources by the end of the day tomorrow. Thank you so much, Jack, and have a great day, everybody.
You too. Bye bye.